Hi ladies, welcome to our Pnimi. This is Sarah Tova Best. It's Erev Shabbos Mevarchim Elul. And we know in the stories of old that even frivolous teenagers, when it came to this time in the old country, they would lock themselves in the base medrash for a whole month and become intensely serious and deeply look into themselves and ask themselves, where have they been all year, and really become serious about tshuva. And here I am, same time, and I'm trying to balance my phone in the tree. What's going on? So of course, the answer is, Elul is the time of the king in the field, right? We all know that. The field, well, I needed something realistic for the field, so here it is. Here it is, the twig. Here's the field, the tree. And what about the king? What about the king? Is this time, just before Elul, a time to ask myself, would you like to see the king? Am I satisfied with repeating the same Dvar Torah that's incredibly poetic, very beautiful, very creative every year? Am I satisfied to do that? Or do I feel like I want to see the king? Whoever this king is, Melech Malchei Amlachim, that's in this field behind me, I want to see him. So what do I have to do? So I'll tell you a little piece of research, being that I'm intensely involved in taking an exam on trauma, and I've been studying for a month or two. I learned that when a person has a memory, a disturbing memory, that even happened decades ago, and they're thinking about it again and kind of reliving it, the whole visual cortex lights up in the brain as if it's happening in real life right in front of them at that moment. The brain experiences, this is in front of my eyes, I see it fully, it's happening. It's as real as when it first happened in the visual cortex. Oof, that's a tough piece of information. Great, all tough stuff has now been given to us to turn upside down. So the good news about that, of course, one piece of good news is all that tough stuff can now be healed pretty easily with all kinds of energy psychology techniques. So take heart, we're no longer stuck. And just parenthetically, they say that until the year 2000, it was commonly understood that some of those really tough experiences that were embedded in the brain that happened really early on were really hardwired into the person and could never be healed. And those days are over. Since then, with the research on brain plasticity, we understand that all of that can be healed and changed. Everything can be renewed. Good news, but that's not what this video is about. I'm saying we're going to turn this tough piece of information upside down and say, guess what? My same visual cortex that has all of those images there, why don't I use it to my advantage? To see the visual cortex. I want to see the king in the field. So what would I need to do to be able to see the king in the field for this entire month? Melech Malchei Amlachim is going to be in the field. And I'm tired of seeing him, Geula. I'm kind of tired of it. So what I want to do is fill my visual cortex with all kinds of Geula images so that when my brain is doing a match and sees things, when I pull into this park and somebody takes my parking spot a second before, and normally my brain would say, ooh, that's really annoying. These people, and all that stuff will happen. I want to fill my brain with those images that immediately give me a match that says, Geula, wow. Wow, thank you, Hashem, for yet another amazing opportunity. Not only I accept what you say, Hashem, but something amazing is happening. Why do you think that person took my parking spot and got out of the car and just walked off without I'm sorry, didn't even realize? Something amazing is happening. Can't wait to see. Wow. That's the way I want to feel. For that, I need a bunch of photos, I need a bunch of pics in my brain that are Geuladik, so that when my brain scan happens to see, when my hippocampus is doing a scan saying, what does this remind me of? All it will come up with is our Geula experiences. They don't have to be Geula experiences that I had in the past. Maybe I don't have that many. Today we don't any longer talk about, paying back the goodness that happened to you. You know how everybody talks about paying it forward? So I don't have to have millions of Geula visions, experiences, and pictures in my brain. I can take stuff from the future, and I can borrow them from someone else. And I can borrow them from Torah. And I can borrow them from those tzaddikim that always did see and do see and will see Geula. How will I do that? I'll fill my brain with those. Borrow their photo album. How do I do it? It's called Learning Inyane Mashiach and Geula. Learning Inyane Mashiach and Geula is designed to fill my brain with all those photos, all those Geula images, so that then when I react with life in the field, in the parking lot, as I'm pulling in for a parking spot, and as all the chocolate milk spills all over the grass that we so carefully prepared on ice for 2 days for the kids, I will experience Geula. And imagine if I can even somehow be so luminous that the kids whose chocolate milk just spilled on the grass that they were waiting for 2 days also experience Geula. Now that's a plan. How does that happen? I would say 3 ways. 1, as I said, learn Inyane Mashiach Geula. It's not just something to do so that I get brownie points. It's what I said above. 2, make sure to notice every Geula experience that's passing by me throughout the day. Tag them. How do I tag them? Because if I don't tag them, they pass so quickly that my visual field doesn't pick them up. Look at the research. There are millions of things happening in this video right behind me right now that nobody's seeing, including me, because they're going so quickly and our visual field doesn't pick them up. So how do I tag all these Geula things that are happening all day? It's called gratitude, thanking Hashem every time I notice one. I want to notice them, I want to fill my brain with them, and I want to thank Hashem every time they happen. So here's the question, why? Okay, I said, because personally I want to see the king in this field. I've been in enough fields. I've done the field thing. Now I want to do the seeing the king in this field part. So why now? And what does it have to do with Elul? As we said, Elul the winds of Elul drove everybody inside to the Beis Medrash to become serious about life. The winds of Elul now drive all of us out of the Beis Medrash into the field to see what we can see. My cheshbon nefesh, my soul reckoning that I'm here to do when it comes to the month of Elul is, we all know, look back at the past year and see how I did, and then say, based on that, look forward to the future year and see how I want to do. But in terms of what is my, what's the main point that I'm looking for? How did I do? I don't know. How much shopping did I do? Like, how was I nice? Was I not nice? Was I impatient? Pick something, because otherwise I'll be all over the place. How did I do in what? Pick something narrow, my narrow niche. How did I do in abc.com, right? And make a website, make a blog post. So my question to myself is, how did I do this past year in seeing the king in the field? He was here all the time, whether it was green or white with snow. He's been in the field. Did I see him? Did I take full advantage of the ability to see him? And then, if I didn't, and I know the answer, I want to see him next year. And that doesn't mean that he has to do more work. That means that there's stuff for me to do. The three things that I said. Learning Yana Mashiach Geula. Try not to miss any of the Geula experiences that are happening, because they're going to come in wrapping paper. They're going to look like the old Gullus stuff. So be on the lookout. And be ready to do a reframe. Wait, I thought that was a Gullus. They took my parking spot and they walked away and they didn't even, and then they threw their wrappers on the ground and they didn't even say thank you. That was a Gullus, right? Expect that kind of wrapping paper. And look for them all. Say, whoa, another Geula. What happened now? So how was the day? It's like at the end of the day, people would say, oh, so how was the park? Amazing, really amazing. What happened? Somebody took my parking spot. Then they threw all their wrappers on the floor. Then they opened their car door and they threw all the garbage out, right? You know, etc. And people will say, that was amazing. Yeah. Geula wrapped in a Gullus wrapping paper. So that's number 2. Don't let these Geula opportunities pass me by. And 3, tag them. Gratitude, thanking Hashem every time one of them happens. And so, I'm going to relate this to one more piece. In Parshas Ekev, for this Shabbos Mevarchim, the Lubavitcher Rebbe speaks about the importance of the fact that the Tanya was printed in Braille, and those people who La Aleinu cannot see can now learn Tanya. And says the Rebbe, if you look into Torah, what are they called? They're called Sagei Nahar. I think it's an Aramaic term. Sagei Nahar means they have a wealth of light, but it doesn't come out of the eye. The eye is not sophisticated enough for so much light to be filtered out. They're going to be the first ones to be healed in Mashiach times. And guess what? They'll probably lead all of us to see the King in the field. So this is a sad situation, bittersweet, and yet we want to think this applies to us too. Thank God we can see, and yet every one of us on some level is Sagei Nahar, has a wealth of light and Geula coming to us, and yet we're not allowing it to come out. And so this Shabbos Mevarchim Elo, we want to say, Hashem, I want to see you in this field. I'll stand here in this field until I can see you. I'm going to do those 3 things, and surely we will open our eyes to find ourselves and see ourselves in the Beis HaMikdash Shlishi, this Elo, right now. Thanks so much.